All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to American Grit. We today are going to be tackling Xi Jinping. He looks like Winnie the Pooh, the Hong Kong protest, the Kurdish problem, or the Turkish problem, whichever, Columbus Day, the woman in Fort Worth that was killed by Fort Worth PD, what's going on with that. We're also going to talk about Master Sergeant Mark Allen, who passed away 10 years after being shot in the head while searching for Bergdahl. And then a late addition to our show, we're going to be talking about a crossing guard who was a law enforcement officer veteran and Korean War veteran who had his weapons taken away from him. So stay tuned and enjoy the show. All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome again to American Grit Live. Unfortunately, Mikey is out jumping out of airplanes this week, so we have just Charlotte and myself. Charlotte, say hi to the wonderful people.
Hi. Oh, I was trying to.
You were trying to
do
be
the
a
beard
beard.
thing.
You were trying to have a beard,
sorry,
like
I don't have. Yeah.
You're not really great at growing facial hair. Something I'm sure that your husband really appreciates.
I mean, yes.
He's
yes.
great at growing facial hair.
He is. Yes.
Yeah, he has a beard that's
And
much
big
better
beard.
than mine.
Yes.
He has lovely locks too. He has great hair.
Does.
He has great hair and a great beard. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. What we're going to talk about today, oh man, Xi Jinping. Did you know that the president? It's important we use air quotes because like they're commies. So the president of China has been compared to Winnie the Pooh, and because of this, Winnie the Pooh is now outlawed in China because the president.
Outlawed?
Yeah, no, they outlawed it. Like you can't show anything Winnie the Pooh. Like you outlawed a honey-eating fictional bear.
Oh,
because,
does that mean Piglet?
Yeah, no Piglet, no
everybody's
Eeyore, no
outlawed?
Tigger, no Christopher Robin, no nobody.
Dude.
So we decided
That's it.
that we would have a look-alike contest. I can't see if it's up on the there it is. It's up on the screen. So
It is.
let's see, where am I pointing?
Well, it's not on AmericanGrit.com.
It's not AmericanGrit.com.
So
Where
it'd
is
be.
it? It's
hold on,
down.
we gotta
Is it down?
point. Yeah, bottom left.
It's on this side. Yeah. On my right? Okay, it's on my
Yeah.
right. All right, so
Oh wait, no. There you go. This way. Holy
this
crap.
way. So I'm gonna go ahead.
This is way too complicated for me.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that
The photo.
one
Wherever
with
the photo is.
wherever the photo is that you guys can see, I'm gonna say the one with the donkey. That's Xi. The one with the donkey shaking hands with the guy. That's Xi. And then the one with the blue curtain. That's Winnie the Pooh.
I mean, I can kind of see where you're going with that, but I think you have them reversed.
No. That is definitely Xi Jinping, and that is definitely Winnie the Pooh.
mean,
I mean, can somebody help us with the difference? I don't know. I don't know who is who. Because, I mean, this guy,
one of them's wearing a red shirt, though.
I know, but that's
Winnie,
what
man.
communists do. They, have you seen their flag?
Yeah. Apparently, all over U.S. cities.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Apparently all over U.S. cities. That's something else we forgot to talk about. How about that? What cities were it? Is Boston, Philadelphia, and
San Francisco.
The thing that bothers me the most about the communist flag being flown at City Hall in Philadelphia is City Hall is literally
It's
2 blocks away from where the Liberty Bell is?
It's city halls in all three of those cities,
But,
regardless of
Philadelphia,
even local,
Liberty Bell, communist flag. Can we get any more oxymoronic?
Hong Kong.
Can we get any more
citizens
oxymoronic?
in those cities even protested about that. They were like, "Hey, please don't do this. It's kind of disrespectful to us."
Yeah. Hey,
And
there's a reason
the
we left this
city
communist nation that kills political dissidents and whatnot.
They did it anyways.
Yeah, they did it anyway. So the Hong Kong protests, I actually watched. I don't mean to plug another show, but I was watching 60 Minutes last night. Right?
No, you should only get your news from AmericanGrit.com.
Only get your news from American Grit. We're the only real ones. My opinions and Charlotte's facts can't go wrong.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so I was watching.
Share
Share it out. Share it out. Make us better than 60 minutes.
He told me to be angry today.
Yeah,
angry
I told her to be
face.
angry. I told her to be angry. Today we're gonna be angry about everything. No, I was watching 60 Minutes, and they were doing a special on the protests. And the thing that got me is they were like, "Hey, you know, you guys using Molotov cocktails and this and that. Isn't that escalating?" And I'm like, "Well, they were kind of." And I'm sitting there like. They were like, we were getting beat with pipes before, like, and batons before we started escalating. Like, they have guns, we have pipes. Like, yes, you can paint us as the bad guys, but all we're asking,
even
like,
getting shot.
yeah,
Like,
somebody got shot. Like, I saw the video of it. They played the video on 60 Minutes of that stuff going down. So, you know.
I mean, aren't we
Mandy
taught?
Richards says, I can't see you angry. Get angry. Show Mandy angry.
Rawr.
That is, I'm not convinced. Show me,
Charlotte,
show me your war face. Show me your war face.
Ah!
Bullshit, I'm not convinced. Work on it. All right. So the Hong Kong protests are still going. Everybody wants to know what it's about because it's been going on for so long. Nobody knows why it's still happening. Give you a quick rundown.
Nobody knows why it's still happening.
Well, people don't watch the news. This is some people, this is the only news they get. And we have a duty to tell them the truth and to be accurate in our reporting. So what happened is Hong Kong exists as a separate governmental system from mainland China. They're still a part of China.
Right.
It's called the one country, two systems, right? Because Hong Kong came over from the British and they enjoy a certain level of liberty that people in normal China or regular China, whatever you want to call it, don't enjoy.
Big China, as you always
big
refer
China,
to it.
right? They don't enjoy the same freedoms that the people in Hong Kong do. Well, China kind of pushed this bill to the leaders, the civic leaders of Hong Kong that would allow them to extradite people from Hong Kong into mainland China for breaking Chinese laws, even though the laws weren't illegal in Hong Kong.
And isn't it not just extradition, but it's also other punishments?
Yeah,
and
other
things
punishments.
As well.
They would be able to be punished under the Communist Court. So it really kind of just defiled in a big way the one country, two systems thing. The people in Hong Kong got pissed, and they started rioting hardcore. And then,
like, you
even
live
after
under a certain government and its rules and things like that, and then this other government that you clearly said you didn't want to live by is like, no, you're still gonna live under us, rah rah rah.
Yeah.
No, homies, that's not how it works.
Exactly. So the bill got withdrawn finally because of the massive amount of protests. But the people of Hong Kong were so pissed off with how the Hong Kong police force had treated them during the protest that they're like, you know what? Our demands have changed. We originally just wanted this extradition bill to go away. Our demands have changed. We want full-on democracy, freedom, Bill of Rights like they have in the United States. We want the Second Amendment. They've been tagging buildings with like Patrick Henry's saying, give me liberty or give me death. People are legit angry. And what I'm really surprised of is that Big China, hasn't sent the People's Liberation Army in to just do what they did in Tiananmen Square, which, as we all know, if you ask the Chinese government what happened in Tiananmen Square June 4th, 1989, nothing happened. But if you ask anybody else, a couple thousand people were murdered for, their political beliefs. And if you think that murdering people for their political beliefs is okay, then you should probably go stand in line for hell with Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, Mao Zedong, Mussolini, who else?
What if
Pol Pot, right? Yeah, Pol Pot. Yeah, all those a-holes.
So what if China's gonna pull a turkey move?
What do you think? You think China's gonna pull a turkey move? What kind of turkey move?
I mean,
like they're gonna just start invading Hong Kong.
I mean,
if so,
I'm just saying, like. But hey, we had to back out of Syria and didn't do anything.
Dennis Hilma says, trade the NBA for Hong Kong.
Pull a Tiananmen 2 because of social media.
Let's see, Richard, China can't pull a Tiananmen 2 because of social media. Oh wait, Apple gave them the keys to Espresso Day. Oh, that's right. Yeah, all these companies. It cracks me up because all these companies talk about being woke. Will the United States
step in and stop them though?
Man, I wish we would. I wish we would. Some De Oppresso Libre boys show up with a bunch of crates full of AKs, just like.
Okay, but not to transition, but to transition. But at the same time, we had special forces get actually like
Targeted.
bombed and targeted
Yeah.
in Syria last week.
Yeah, that was a thing that happened. So the
What
Kurdish
the heck?
situation, right? So moving on, because tyranny, it all falls under the same umbrella, right? So Turkey's a bunch of a-holes. Like I've thought so for a long time. The only reason we keep friendly relations with them, in my opinion, is for the exclusive use of Incirlik Air Base in Turkey. It's a very strategic location. It proves as a buffer to Russia and allows access for us to the Black Sea.
Buffer to Russia.
Buffer to Russia. When they bought the S-400 system from Russia, they have advisors on the ground. I have a conspiracy theory. I think that like our troops being targeted, like, and because they were bracketed, it was close enough to where they weren't hit, but they were like, hey, if it gets any closer, we need to fire back in self-defense.
They were really close, but they were like, we can't.
Exactly. And so my theory is that it was Russian advisors that told Turkey, I was like, hey, kind of bracket them and see what they do. See if they hold up to their, their line in the sand that they draw.
Yeah.
And we didn't do anything about it. And it kind of bothers me that we didn't do anything about it.
It bothers me too. And you know that I usually try to stay fairly neutral on a lot of things. Not to be the Swiss, but because
I just hope both teams have a good time.
Yeah, But I try to keep a very level-headed thing, a level head, especially about a lot of different situations that go on in the world. But this is one that definitely kind of pisses me off.
Yeah, and it should, because like the thing is, look, there's a lot of things in the Kurdish situation, right? So there's regular Kurds, there's commie Kurds, there's Syrians, there's Turks, there's ISIS, there's Iraq. And then there's our forces, all in that mix, right? And so one of the big issues that we've had is like we want to be supportive of the Turks, but we want to be supportive of the Kurds, but not the commie Kurds, but the Kurds that are like the cool Kurds that always help us kill the bad guys.
Right,
that we
and
like
have
continually,
been for years.
Yeah, so like
decades. That's
the problem. Is when we talk about the Kurdish issue, like what's going on with the Kurds and whatnot, they're not. You say the Kurds. Well, there's a bunch of different like factions warring for,
of course,
kind of, yeah. And so like there's commies that actually have helped us against ISIS and ISIL and whatever, and then there's regular Kurds that also helped us against ISIS and helped us in the invasion of Iraq in 2003. They helped us in the invasion. The Kurds in general,
regardless of their political beliefs,
have helped us.
Yeah. They have stepped in and said, hey, ISIS and ISIL, bad of bad.
Yeah.
We don't like them. Demolish.
Yeah.
And Turkey is now being like, meh, we don't care.
The thing is, right, like when you look at, it's very easy to get tunnel vision. It's very easy to get tunnel vision and say, we need to help these guys, we need to help these guys, we need to help these guys, and ignore the bigger like tactical picture. Look, I was on that train. It pissed me off. It pissed me off when I heard that we were going to be abandoning our Kurdish allies. Right? Because we had an opportunity to help them out when we invaded, when we kicked Saddam's ass in the 90s. We could have been like, hey, Saddam, as part of this peace to get us to leave and stop, blowing up your entire crappy military, you got to give the Kurds a place of their own. What did we do? We pulled all our troops back and told the Kurds to go at it alone. They got massacred by chemical weapons. Right? 2003 comes, we invade Iraq again. Turkey doesn't want to help us, even though they're a NATO ally. The Kurds say, you can come in and work with us in the north. They help us again. We should have, when we helped set up the Iraqi constitution, we should have been like, hey, you guys need to make provisions and help out the Kurds because they helped us. What did we do? We left them high and dry again. They helped us in our fight against ISIS and ISIL, and what are we doing? It looks like we're leaving them high and dry again. So it's this big problem of us leaving people high and dry. And my biggest problem with the whole thing is if we can't be trusted to be loyal to our allies, then how can we be trusted in anything else, whether it's trade or war? Look, I'm all about peace. I want our troops to be safe. I want us to be peaceful as a nation because war sucks. Friends die, you come home with scars, you come home with a whole bunch of, a litany of problems. War sucks. If we can avoid it, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But what we can't do is go to war and then half-ass it. We can't do that.
Right. I mean, we've been in Syria for a while. It's been no secret, right? We've been there for a while.
Yeah.
And
since like 2014.
Now suddenly, like, it's allies versus allies. And I wrote a story Friday. I posted it on AmericanGrit.com. And it's just really interesting how things are definitely developing over there, and how we're still kind of staying out of it. Like, I can only say so much because of the position I'm in and whatnot. But at the same time, like, wrong is wrong, and we've definitely got to start doing something.
You know, I'm almost of the opinion, and this is really just, you know, kind of internet bravado and stuff coming across, but I'm almost at the point where I'm just like, you know what, just burn it all to the ground over there and start again. But
is that really going to?
Honestly
though, because I know a lot of people. I know a lot of our viewers and a lot of our readers share that same opinion. Just, you know, bomb it all, start from scratch. But will that actually fix the issue?
I don't know. I think we set ourselves up for failure. If you look all the way back to when, after World War I and the splitting up of the Ottoman Empire, we just drew arbitrary lines all over the place. We're like, hey, these are the countries now. And I think we really failed to do a good job in that. And it set us up for failure on down the line. You know, if we burned it all down, you know, hey, we're going to burn it all down, and then you guys establish your own countries and you figure it out. Don't attack us, or we'll burn it all down to the ground again.
But if we burn it all down, I you know, devil's advocate, just kind of like what Mikey does sometimes, right? Well, what about the good? Steven, what about the good people?
You know, that's the thing that sucks about all of this is the good people are always caught in the middle. You know, when it comes to, and you can look at that at anything, right? We're going to talk about the police officer from Fort Worth that was on a wellness check and shot the woman that was unarmed or anything. And look, everything is alleged until the facts come out. We've tried to be this thing, but like, bad actors in any area make a hostile culture that endangers good people. Anytime you have bad actor, that's why, like, look, I don't want to be the guy that like praises Tekashi 6ix9ine for being like a snitch, but like, police your own. If you've got bad actors in your field, like, police your own. Come up on them. You know what I mean? Like, take care of the bad apples so that it doesn't make a more hostile culture for you. And that could be said from police departments all the way down to countries, right? Because they're good people.
All the way up. Because police departments are the smaller faction.
You're right. I'm sorry. I was just caught up in the moment. Like, but that's the thing, though, right? Is if you look at a country, you know there's bad people in the country. There's bad people in the United States. There's good people in the United States.
Well, right. But and just like we talked about this morning, too, on a piece you're thinking of writing, right? There's bad apples in every part of society, in everyone's society. There's always that bad apple. But are you going to let that bad apple rot the entire basket, if you will?
Yeah.
Or are you going to get that bad apple out of the basket altogether?
Stephen, we're not suggesting killing millions and genocide. That's not what we're saying. We're saying, like, destroy the countries that are hostile to us and let them start all over. That's what we're saying. Like, Turkey is obviously hostile to us, but they're doing it in a very passive-aggressive way, and they have some sort of,
I wouldn't call what they're doing passive-aggressive if they're dropping bombs.
Exactly.
Like, that's not very passive-aggressive.
Like, but that's what I'm saying is, like, they haven't killed one of our guys yet, right? And they're a member of NATO, and they're doing all this stuff. But, like, dude, are they really an ally? I don't think they are. Like, would we, you know, what if they invoked the Articles of NATO
to have questionable
and asked us,
motives. They're definitely starting to have super questionable motives.
Yeah, they were. Like, oh, okay, Steven, I was just making sure you didn't think that's what we were advocating. That's not what we're advocating. We're like, but like, my whole problem with like the Afghanistan and the Iraq war is we never really had that commander's intent on what winning looked like. You know, there's like, oh, well, we won. And then it's like, but you're going to keep going here for 10 years to ensure stability. I'm like, well, if we have to keep going here for 10 years to ensure stability, did we really win?
But we've done the same thing in other countries too, though.
But there was a capitulation by the populace. Like in Japan and in Germany, when we won, everybody was like, okay, yeah, like you guys definitely won. We definitely lost. In these countries, people figured out that asymmetrical and guerrilla warfare can keep people bogged down in stuff and bankrupt people much more efficiently than conventional warfare. So is it our goal to stay in an asymmetric guerrilla warfare, or should we go in, break all their stuff, and then just everybody pull out and leave and say, don't do what you did again, or we're going to come in and break all your stuff again? Like, how do we, what's the right answer?
Right, and
I don't know.
Exactly. That it blah, 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 definitely begs the question of what is the right answer, because doing that, and just like somebody else pointed out in the comments, turns us into the bad guy. We're no longer the good guy helping. We're now the bad guy because we're just going in and being like, "Rawr, breaky, 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 breaky."
You saw the meme we posted. What was it? Yesterday we posted a meme, and it was making fun of the climate activists, and it's like, U.S. intervenes in Middle East, solve a problem. People, you have stolen my hopes and dreams. United States doesn't intervene in the Middle East, solve a problem. You have stolen my hopes and dreams. We're kind of damned
like
if we do and damned if we don't.
And that's in a lot of different things. And it just like, okay, so transitioning again, right? Because got to move right along. Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day.
Oh my God. I don't even know. Like,
this is one that I really don't want to talk about, to be honest.
Too bad. Everybody wants to talk about it. Look, here's the thing. I wasn't there with Columbus. Right, like I wasn't there. I don't know the guy.
Me either. I'm not that old.
I don't know the guy. I don't know the guy.
Though, but I'm not that old.
Yeah, he probably did some messed up. He probably did some messed up shit. He probably did. Just like Cortez did some messed up shit. Like, name me one explorer from that era that didn't probably like commit some genocides. Name me one. Like nobody's sitting over here like castigating Magellan. Or
right,
or any of these, or
Spanish
Sir Francis Drake.
Nobody's
castigating all these people. I'm like, look, if it weren't for Columbus, and we know the Vikings found America way before Columbus, like we know. The point I'm trying to make is this: is like, did Columbus do a bunch of?
Steven said, "I'll ask my mother-in-law. I think she was the cook on the boat." Yeah. Dude, bad mother-in-law joke. I hope she doesn't watch this show.
But like when it comes to Columbus Day, like, look, yeah, did he do a lot of bad stuff? Absolutely. But would the New World have opened up the way that it did if it weren't for him?
True.
So,
I think, and
I'm
honestly,
not defending his
though,
actions.
I remember as a kid though paying tribute to the indigenous people from the beginning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just one of those where it's like we've got to definitely pay tribute to our heritage.
In hindsight, how are we to know that the Blankets had smallpox and they didn't have an immunity? Like, how was anybody to know that? It was the 1700s. Did they have geneticists back then? Did they crack the human genome? No. Everything that we're doing is an after-the-fact reaction, right? So, like, I'm sorry Columbus did this. I don't think he intentionally was like, look, we're going to sail over there and we're going to get all these people sick. I don't think that was on his mind. Like, was it greed? Was it selfishness? Were there other immoral things that he was probably had on his mind, like the slave trade or the this or the that? Yeah, absolutely. And we can definitely hit him up for that, because you should always know that owning people is wrong. But the whole destroying the cultures with, the smallpox and the different diseases and stuff, like, I don't think we need to put that on him because he didn't have any way of knowing.
Right, but and there's a few comments, right? We should look at this as a sign of society moving forward as far as calling it Indigenous People Day. And it's Indigenous People Day. Columbus is gone. It just needs to be officially changed.
Why is it Indigenous People Day? What did they do though that day? I'm not trying to be a prick. I'm just asking a real question. Like, why are we recognizing them for getting stumbled upon by somebody else? And why are we recognizing him for stumbling upon us? Like, which one did the modern world spring up from? I'm not saying that Columbus was right.
Right.
Right? But, like, if he didn't take his 3 ships...
Right, we know, Justin. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Like, we've all heard. But, it was the 1400s.
It was the 1400s, and you know what I mean. The point I'm trying to make is this. Were some of the things that Columbus did absolutely horrible and repressive, and things that even back then he should have known that's not cool? Absolutely. Was him sailing his ships across the ocean to find a better trade route to the West Indies or the East Indies, was that malicious? I don't think so. And the fact that he stumbled upon a new world, right? that was previously undiscovered by Europe and a majority of the rest of the world, like Europe and Asia.
Right.
Like, why are we...
And that's what I agree with you there, Stephen, when you say I'm not saying to change, I'm saying to recognize the true history of the world. I agree. Like we should recognize that. And I remember as a kid always recognizing that history.
Yeah.
It is a very touchy topic, and everybody definitely has their own opinions on it. I don't know. It's just one of those.
I think if we're gonna ask the questions, then we need to ask fair questions, right? Because if we're gonna call it Indigenous Peoples Day, okay, what did the Indigenous peoples do to facilitate the world
new
as
holiday?
it is?
We shall call it Monday. Yeah, Monday.
You see what I'm saying though? Like what did they like? Why are we calling it Indigenous Peoples Day? Because he accidentally murdered them with disease? Is it a day of remembrance? If that's so, like that's fine, and I'm cool with calling it that.
Right.
Right. If we're gonna say it's a day of remembering the Indigenous people that died.
Continue to drop comments. Tell us what you think. Maybe we'll write something up about it. I'm not trying to be a prick about it. We want to know what you guys think, because this is where John and I do share a little bit different opinions. I am kind of in the middle on this, because part of me wants to keep the Columbus Day, because not to change things and whatever else, and suddenly Indigenous People Day, but at the same time continue to recognize that Indigenous people are a part of our history, and to continue to recognize that. So this is where I don't know. I'm personally completely torn on this one. Yeah. I know that you have very strong opinions on it. So continue to drop your comments. Tell us what you think, and we'll go from there. Right? It's going to be what it's going to be. Like, obviously, John and I can't change nationally recognized holidays.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be like, and I'm not trying to be a prick. Like it's just okay. If it's going to be Indigenous Peoples Day, then we need to be like, hey, it's about remembering the lives that were lost because of what Columbus did. Right. Instead of just saying,
circle, like, instead of just being like, change now.
Like, we need to have a reason for why we do things, and that's fine. And I'm all about, like, if we're going to call it that.
Speaking of reasons,
oh my gosh.
Health and wellness check inside our home, man.
I don't think we have enough time to go in depth on this. I think we need to.
Let's just get down to the last one.
Let's get down to the last one, because
Master
this one is.
Sergeant Mark Allen passed away 10 years ago, and he was in the members of the team that were attempting to find that person, and I really want to cuss very badly, but my grandma may watch this, so I'm not going to, because I'm sweet like that.
No, I'm going to say it. Bo Bergdahl's a piece of shit.
Yes.
Got people killed, got people wounded. He's a traitor. I don't know why. I've seen in the news that, like, different stuff is coming up about his trial, about his sentence. Like, dude, I don't know why that guy hasn't been hung.
I don't even care.
I don't even care. I want that guy.
Like,
I want that guy to get. Oh my gosh, I've never wanted somebody
Mikey.
to die so much in my entire life. Yeah,
Mikey's in the comments cussing for me.
Yeah,
yes,
thank you, Mikey.
That's exactly what I want to say.
How's jumping out of planes going for you?
Well, he's not there yet.
Well, he might be. You don't know.
He's prepping. He flies out tomorrow.
He flies out tomorrow. I thought he flew out this morning. Wow. Thanks for sharing with me, Mikey.
All right. So. Interesting. But
I want, like, Master Sergeant Mark Allen passed away 10 years after being shot in the head while searching for Bergdahl this past weekend. He was like, he wasn't searching for Bergdahl this past weekend. He passed away this past weekend. He was shot in the head while searching for Bergdahl.
Oh, Mikey says he's at the airport.
Okay, you're at the airport.
Well, thanks for watching us.
Thanks for watching us, Mikey. We appreciate it. Is TSA coming to check you out because you're watching something not approved by the state-run media?
Whatever.
Winnie the Pooh and Xi Jinping look like they're the same person.
All right. So, last but not least, we totally.
I know we totally forgot to talk about this, and it really makes me mad. There's an elderly gentleman who's a Korean War vet. He was a law enforcement officer.
Run long today.
Yeah, we're gonna run a little long today because we want to. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a lot of good topics.
We do what we want. Rob, hopefully you don't have anything going on. We're gonna run a little long.
Do you have anything going on? We're gonna stay down here for a while because I want to talk about this.
Well, I mean, not too much longer.
Well, okay,
no.
We want to talk about this. there was a guy. He's a crossing guard at his local elementary school or whatnot, or middle school. I'm not sure of which. But he's a Korean War vet. He was a law enforcement officer for nearly 60 years. He made a comment, right? And I'm going to tell you what the comment was. He said that somebody could come and shoot up the school while the school resource officer, who's the police officer that's supposed to be like protecting the school, was out at the little convenience store getting his cup of coffee while the kids were coming to school.
Wait, while the kids are on their way into the school, he's
Yes.
getting his coffee?
Yes.
Not before work, not after they're all settled in their classes.
Exactly.
While they're crossing the street on their way in a very vulnerable state. Parents are there, and everybody's paying attention to their kid. Kids are paying attention to their parents and the other kids. And homie's just across the street getting his coffee.
Yeah. And then because he said that, he didn't even say that while he was on the job.
The only armed person around.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense, right? Like, get this. He said that at a restaurant during his own private time. He said, you shouldn't leave your post. Somebody could come and shoot up the school. A waitress heard that, reported him to local authorities. They came and removed him from his job and then took him to his house where they made him surrender all his guns. And the chief of police for that township is considering trying to force him to give up his concealed carry permit. All for saying that the school resource officer should stay at his post when the children are at the school instead of leaving the grounds to go and get a coffee.
That is absolutely ridiculous. And oh, by the way, that waitress shall now be known as 6ix9ine.
Like, what a... Rob, can I say bitch?
I just did, so.
Well,
That
there you
waitress is
go.
a bitch.
All right.
Like, straight up. Like,
My
that's
grandma
not-
might watch this.
Like, I'm sorry, but look, we've gotten to a point to where we are afraid of our own shadow. If somebody speaks tactically about something so that something bad doesn't happen.
Tactically or tactfully?
Tactically. He's tactically speaking. He's saying if this guy leaves, the school is vulnerable. That's
Right.
a tactical observation.
It's also tactful in the way that he did it because
Yeah,
he
'cause he
didn't
didn't-
address it in front of all the kids, in front of the school, and whatever else. He did it in a restaurant.
He was tactful and tactical. This dude is now getting his gun. Like, man, this is the world we live in. Where somebody can say, hey, don't leave your post. You're putting the kids at risk. And they're like, you're a threat then. Like, who connects those dots?
Well, it's also, two people who are on complete opposites politically can't sit together socially at a football game.
Oh my gosh.
It has to be all over the news, and oh my God, these
it's a
are
big-
bad people, and why didn't
Like-
she cuss him out, and whatever else, and tell him how bad of a person is, instead of being an adult
Yeah.
and being like, hey,
And how come the chief of police, didn't go, that's a really good point. Why is my SRO, or why didn't the district go, yeah, why is my SRO leaving his post when he's supposed to be doing a job? Because Lord knows, it's not like the Broward County Sheriff's guy that didn't do what he was, like, we all know the police don't have a duty to protect you, circa Supreme Court decisions, blah, 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 blah. But if you're a school resource officer, you're the only armed person on that campus, and there's somebody with intent to commit a crime, you are literally the only person there that can stop that, and then you leave your post, and nobody says or does anything about it, and the one person that does...
children are actively in and
the
around
school.
the school grounds.
Yeah.
They're not in their classrooms. They are not safe
Yeah.
in a building. They're in and around the school campus. That's where I draw the line.
I
line.
can't...
And I know we talked about this a little bit before, but if they were all settled in their classes and whatever else, and homie ran across the street, grabbed his cup of coffee, came back to the school, that's one thing. And even still, right? Like you said, like that still provides a vulnerability. And if he does it at the same time every day,
It's predictable, and it's a weakness that could be exploited. And instead of addressing the SRO, what do? They fire the guy and take all his guns away.
Korean War veteran who said, "Hey, man, that's kind of not cool. Like maybe this is something you should think about because I want the kids in the community to have a safe environment."
Yeah, I can't believe.
Yeah.
He was a Korean War vet
Awesome.
and nearly 60-year law enforcement officer, and
So
they
he
did
knew
this
what
to him.
was up.
He knew
Like,
what was
he
up.
knew-
It's not like he's talking out of his ass.
Right, and he knew, you know,
Gosh.
we
All right,
all know
we
police
gotta-
officers
I'm
like
sorry,
coffee and
everybody. We gotta
whatever
wrap
else.
this up. We're gonna get in trouble. We're taking this way too long, guys.
All right.
Tune in this coming Thursday. We're gonna have another great veteran business or nonprofit or whatever. We're not gonna tell you because guess what? You gotta tune in to find out. But tune
we have
in.
some openings for Thursdays in the future.
We
So if you want us to come hang out with you, just shoot us an email, man.
Yeah,
we're down with
absolutely.
shooting guns. We're down with
we're
like
down for pretty much anything.
anything,
Yeah,
really.
We've
I
been
mean,
to-
there's some things. All right, get your heads,
out of the gutter.
get your mind right.
Get your heads out of the gutter.
All
That's
right.
that's my gutter. My head's in the gutter. But we will see you guys on Thursday. Mikey will still be out jumping out of airplanes. He'll actually be jumping out of airplanes instead of getting molested by the TSA. Guys, we can't wait to see you on Thursday. Can't wait to have you see our guest on Thursday. Tune in at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook, American Grit.
We're trying to get it on Instagram. We're uploading it to YouTube. We're spreading ourselves all over because, you know, we like to share the love a little
Yeah,
bit.
and check us out on Twitter as well, at the American Grit. I share
You get
dank
all
memes
of-
and talk smack.
I was gonna say you get all of John's ranting.
Yeah.
Well, it's
That's
another,
it. High
it's
five.
another
Good
day
show.
over. Woo!
Bye bye, guys. We'll see you
Bye.
next time.